And yeah, so that's maxed out, right? 64, 128, that's what I meant. I was thinking maybe with some other connection, so, or some other time of the day. But anyways, we'll get a wrench from Omega Craft, because that's what we've got our energy set up as. And we'll do this here, and you can see that it's full. But when we put something in it, say just a random ore, I don't know, put some bauxite in just to see, you can see that it just drops immediately. This is why I think it's a bug, because it doesn't seem right. It just drops, and then that cuts out. That does not mean that it's not processing it, it just means that it's not visually showing you what the current state of it is. Because you can completely leave this thing doing its own job and come back and you're like, oh, okay, it's done. But when you're visually watching it, it is not there, so keep that in mind. It kind of threw me off at first and I was like, hang on, that doesn't make sense, but then opening and exiting the GUI, you'll see it. So do it again, and do it again, and do it again. You can see that it's processing, but it visually is not displaying things correctly, so keep that in mind. But yeah, obviously, if we move on, the crusher pretty much does, you know, sort of typical things. You can break down, obviously, biomass, which I've not actually accessed. Ores, as per usual. Also then the biomass, because all mods do that. So you can see the different percentage for the secondary there. So mostly seeds and ores, or organic and ores, I'm pretty sure. You can get sticks, you can break down saltpeter, break down enchanted golden apples, okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a bunch of organic and otherwise there. So that's we put a multiplier in here, which is the quartz multiplier, as you can see there. Put that up here, and I assume it's kind of like the equivalent of upgrading the machines a bit. We'll put another bauxite in here, and you can see the difference of not only power, but also progress that it's going through as well. So there's a noticeable difference. I don't know how much extra energy it pulls when using it, but it is slightly more, consuming a lot more to also process quicker. With the furnace next, which we'll just hook this up as well. Which is pretty much just your typical furnace. It's got the percentage there and ticks and such, so we'll just go take that out. That can't be smelted. I think it's just general recipe, so we just put, say, I don't know, what's something different? Potatoes. Maybe we want to cook potatoes. We can see the percent complete there and the amount of ticks. It's just visually going to stop, but it is actually doing it. Just get rid of these because we don't need all of them. But obviously we've got our baked potato there, as you can see. We'll just do that, and we'll just take that out, and then we'll put a quartz multiplier in. Get in there. And we'll put that in, and we can see it drop immediately quicker. And there we go. And obviously its IO is up and down rather than the crushers following here of in, out, and RNG, which is obviously your additional one there, so your secondary output. We've got the electrolyzer, which is obviously for getting certain fluids or breaking and separating certain things. You obviously got your two inputs from the top and the side, and outputs from basically every other direction. Take this out because we don't need that right now. So we can put this in after we have some power connected to it. Obviously I could use any other type and it'd be fine. So you do need a strict amount as well, so I'll get some more bauxite. Just chuck that in. And we'll see it separate into one of, or at least about 4, or 1 to 2 out of the 4 options. So we can see we're getting aluminium there, and obviously the others are chance-based, so or a certain percentage chance that it will appear in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th slots. It's obviously not all secondary, like the crusher. So got that there, we'll put this in here, and it'll be much faster. But yeah, if you want to get access to certain ores that you'll commonly be using, aluminium's obviously the common one you'll be getting, but if you want access to rutile and titanium, which yes, obviously you use rutile to get titanium, but you get obviously the extra 5% here, then you can do this without having to access the ore, which I don't have there anymore. Obviously, if some require a fluid, or gas, or whatever the case is, also fluid I guess because it's in a bucket, then yeah, you would have a bucket here to get access to, where is it? not going to show me. I can find out this way, of course, which is like so for things like cinnabar, bauxite not so much, and getting oxygen or mercury from either of those two, so rutile or cinnabar there. I'm sure I'll just put some in, of course. But yeah, some of it you might need to just put in a tank if you have access to a mod that adds one, as you can't really do much else with it, otherwise you have to, you know, empty the bucket. But that's pretty much it. Obviously mercury is used for batteries, which we'll check out soon, but oxygen doesn't have any other purpose other than in the combustion generator, I'm pretty sure, so yeah. That is that. Moving on, we've got the compressor, which is obviously making things like plates. So you got your titanium ones, which are used for the distillation unit, and the titanium machine casing, which maybe is actually used for the multi-block that I forgot about. So maybe that's what that's used for, rather than just, you know, actually making machines. Yeah, it might be aluminium machine casings. Okay, maybe not then. Which is maybe the extent they haven't expanded upon yet. So there's that, as well as the carbon one, which is for all your next tier machines. Which obviously the furnace is one of those higher tier machines. And then you've got the aluminium plate, which is for your common, or your other stuff besides the following there, but also for your aluminium shell, which is your obviously one that makes that. Excuse me. So yeah, for a lot of common stuff, I will put in I guess aluminium. Just put an ingot. Just do that. That's still good enough, right? Not really. No. Okay, so we'll go with our combustion generator over here then. And I'll just do things at a decent pace. And then we've got up and down slots. And if we put a multiplier in here, we can see it do things a bit faster. Or just drain more energy, it mostly seems like sometimes. But I'm sure it does speed it up by a bit. So let's get rid of that. Next, we've got the centrifugal agitator, which I know I keep getting the recipes from these machines, so we'll also just get those. So we've got what? Just go into creative, it's much easier. So we've got crusher, just 2 stone gears, some iron, and other stuff. Obviously, the part here is for removing information from them, which I think some mods do. So pretty much if you want to remove the NBT data there. So I assume that I don't think power refers to NBT data. I don't. Might be. Maybe the configuration here and some other stuff. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to remove the data, you can. Otherwise, we've got the furnace, which is obviously a higher tier one. So some microchips and plates in the higher tier machine frame. Electrolyzer, which is also pretty accessible early on. Compressor. Lockbind and such and such. Obviously, the recipe is quite familiar, even if using different resources. To IC2, so we've got centrifugal agitator there. We'll just cover the rest of these, of course. Equalizer, carbon gears you need for a few of those, and then air compressor. We've got 2, and then obviously the primitive furnace, gas furnace, and I'll just cover these now so we can get them out of the way, and you can pause the video at any time. Distillation. Acid batteries, all this other stuff, so yeah. Right, so we'll move on, of course. So, centrifugal agitator, which is pretty much, I assume, also a fluid-based kind of thing. So what have we got here? Uses compressed air or red fuming nitric acid to make oxygen and nitrogen, or dinitrogen tetroxide, I assume, and white fuming nitric acid. So many of these are used in the combustion generator for, obviously, oxidizers, I assume. Whilst the others are fuel, like diesel and naphtha, and nitroglycerin, and biofuel. We have access to biomass, such, gasoline, light fuels. We'll get to those soon. So what we put in here is quite important. So let's see, red fuming? Or what else was there? Compressed air. How do you get compressed air is what I want to know. It just apparently happens. Okay, so nitric acid then. You can make that with saltpeter in an aqualizer, which we have yet to get to, but we'll do it now. So we'll just get saltpeter in here. Put that in that slot, and then we put this, and we connect it up to here. And we can see that that'll be doing things eventually. So that needs saltpeter. Obviously you can put coal dust, you can put sulfur, you can put shredded biomass in here, so that's how you get your biofuel. After you use some plants in a crusher. So we use this and sulfuric acid, which we get from sulfur already in here with water, so you probably need a few of these machines, technically. So we'll just get rid of that, actually, we'll just skip ahead to the red fuming one. But yeah, so pretty much you'll need probably a few of these to make certain things by putting, you know, sulfur and water in here to get sulfuric acid, then move it into another one, and then so on. But yeah, so we put this in here. I guess this one, sorry? Yes. And then we get... what is it again? Power, I guess, for one. Yep, so that'll do that, and that'll give us, what, an item? I think it was? Let's see, that doesn't have the thing skipping there, or dropping immediately, so that's interesting. So we'll get our acid, and we'll get our tetroxide, and obviously from there we can just bucket them up once we have access to, you know, 1,000 millibuckets worth, and then I use that in the combustion generator, one as an oxidizer, both as an oxidizer, I think, because the others are obviously fuels. So, yeah, you pretty much need to use these two in coordination to make things happen. Next we have the air compressor, which, I'll just check here if it shows a recipe, it does not. I don't know if this means anything else, actually we'll try the thing here. We'll check, so that's the following input-output there, for those curious. And let's see, so we want to put in red fuming. We'll see what this does with this increased. Quite a difference, maybe? Doesn't seem to display the information for it, unfortunately. No, okay, oh well. Let's go saltpeter, I guess, in here. And water? Was it sulfur? I think. Yes. So there's that. Going at a fairly reasonable speed. And a decent speed there. Quite a bit more power. So there's that, I guess. So there we go. That's consuming pretty much 20 each, and then converting it. Okay, so we got quite a bit there. Compressor, though. How do I do this? Do I get a bucket? And just put that in there, and then just have power connected to it? I have absolutely no idea. But I've not used this one before. Yeah, so it just produces air based on power, then you can just bucket it up, basically. Okay. Interesting. So we just do this, we just get a bunch of buckets. I have to get one each, don't I? Yes. And I need a like hopper or something else underneath it. But yeah, depending on how much power you have is determining how much compressed air, which is interesting. Okay. So you need like some other tank or some other thing, but nope. And that's obviously with the multiplier included there, so that's how quick that was. And you get an up and down slot for outputting, so there's no need to focus on input. I guess maybe not with buckets. Oh yeah, because that's the output there. So maybe that means... Okay, so that's the tank, that's the slot. Okay, so if you wanted to input and output, or just remove the compressed air with buckets or with pipes or something like that, you can.